All right. Well, let's do. Well, hey, this is Jeremy with Test Plug, and we're here with Slugtoys. I've known him for, well, I haven't known him personally. I've been following him on Instagram for probably a good 6 months. Bought my first Chewbacca resin from him right around that same time. Have bought several since. But as long as it keeps making Chewbacca stuff, I guess I'll be keeping buying stuff. But let's go ahead and start this out. So the first question is, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. Good. On a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 7.
7, yeah. Well, in this day and age, who can't be down from a
Right.
perfect 10?
Yeah.
Who knows when people are going to be listening to this, but it's
Yeah.
definitely an interesting time.
The year was 2020.
I love all the flaming trash can memes that are going around. But so how did you get started?
With making toys?
Well, in general, what was your first, as growing up, what was your first, what was your love? What was your passion for?
I think I'm not really into sports. I started drawing and I got a lot of recognition as a kid. And so the recognition kind of just kept me drawing. And I don't know. I think, growing up in school, once people found out that I could draw, it's like I had value in their eyes. So it was just like a form of recognition and validity that I don't know that I was cool or something. So yeah, I just kept drawing and uh, kept making art.
Nice. How did that switch over to interest in toys?
Um, hmm, uh, I don't know.
Well, like, did you always collect? Were you always a collector as a kid?
No, I mean, I had toys. I had lots of Ninja Turtles. I think like every year for any reason, I just wanted more Ninja
Who
Turtles,
didn't?
like just like Christmas, birthday, anything you could think of. Just please, like, take me to Toys R Us and let me look at the shelf. And uh, yeah, they made so many of them too. So it was perfect.
Yeah, there's so many original styles with that line too. Like, I mean, you had the reoccurring whatever version of, Michelangelo or that year, but you also had 12 different characters that were completely, just pulled
Mm,
out of, well, mostly the cartoon, but, whoever's, imagination at the time.
yeah, I think there's still toys that I had and characters that I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
There's a couple different people online on YouTube that I'll watch every once in a while and just be like, oh man, I completely forgot about that guy. Or now they're remaking so many lines that it's kind of interesting to see like new versions of the old ones.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, I don't even know what happened to all of the toys.
Yeah, I was.
Garage sales or giving them away or the trash. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I had a lot of Star Wars stuff growing up, and then we moved 2 or 3 times, and most of that Star Wars stuff went away, which is funny for as huge of a Star Wars fan as I am. And then in the early 90s, I started collecting X-Men stuff. And that got to quite a huge collection that once again I sold off back in like '07. I just had a huge sell off of all my comics and toys and kind
Mm.
of solidified my role as an anti-collector.
Oh, yeah.
So at that point, I still can't not go into a comic shop or not go down a toy aisle, but I'm very
Mm-hmm.
selective on what I buy, and everything is opened. Nothing is for the value. Nothing is. It's just for personal value at this point. Because
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I still have toys, but it's very much so more for that.
That's great. That's great. I'm still like extremely new to the world of toys. This is just like my first year diving into it, and I'm discovering and learning, yeah, as I go.
Yeah, it's a love and a curse all in one ball of because you have, well, especially now as we're adults, like spending
Mm,
$40 on a toy isn't like out of the question. It's like we don't love it,
yeah,
but it's like, oh, I guess I'll do that. Um,
yeah.
or more even, and we don't have to wait. We don't have to have mom's permission to buy that $6 Ninja Turtle anymore.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Have you gotten into any of the art toy lines?
Hmm. Like what?
Well, like so, some of the soba foos and stuff like that that are usually priced like closer to the $100 range.
Mm. Hmm. Yeah, so Fubi. I have some.
Yeah,
I like
they're
it.
dangerous. They're beautiful, but they're dangerous.
Yeah, they're really nice. They're really
Have
nice.
you?
And I think I'll try to get some made in the future.
Yeah, I've actually been looking into quite a bit of that, like what it would take to make that. It's kind of a neat process.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
All right, so that's a little bit of how you got started. What re-brought in the whole? Seen a lot of ums here. What brought in the whole making toys into your life?
Yeah. It's very weird. I don't know. I think last year we bought a little Toyota like
Right.
vehicle, and I had it in my mind that I should get a Yoda action figure or figurine. And so I kind of just went down this rabbit hole of like finding Yodas and like toy Yodas to buy. And I started this collection out of nowhere. And yeah, the first figure, I was like, oh, I should make like a Toyota bootleg. I don't know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere, really.
Did you have any prior experience with resin casting at all?
No, not really. Yeah, yeah. It's a whole, yeah, it's a whole process.
Yeah, I bet. Um, what tools did you start with?
Nothing. I mean, no, I had to learn everything and get everything. I mean, the basic things you need, resin and silicone to start out is
Some super
pretty
glue.
much, yeah, yeah.
Did you have any
Uh,
carving experience before, or like like clay or anything?
no, actually, like I went to art school and I studied art and design, fine arts, drawing, painting,
Awesome.
but nope, never did anything with sculpture really. Um, uh, Nothing with clay. So this is all very new to me.
Awesome. Awesome. Um, then as far as like even as a kid, it was more pen and ink kind of stuff, and
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
nice. Yeah, that's a good. That's an interesting transition because a lot of people start off as sculptors and then kind of work their way into casting and stuff like that. Um,
yeah. There's a lot of skills that like I wish I had right now. So I'm
totally
working with what
understood.
I have, and yeah, and learning as I go.
Yeah,
And there's a lot to learn. So I definitely foresee doing this for a long time and hopefully getting a lot better.
yeah. It seems like they're really starting to refine the process too. There's a lot of I've been looking into some of the newer like epoxy clays and stuff like that, and it's making it so it's a lot easier to do. There's not as much curing time or stuff. You can it's
Mhm.
different textures to it, without dry times and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
I also didn't do much as far as clay work. I think I've messed around, one of those paint your own ceramic bug stores with some friends kind of
Oh,
thing. But that's my forte as far as for clay painting at this point. But it should be interesting as I get some more of these projects undergo. Um,
mm,
I'm kind of excited. I would like to see some of your actual artwork because I've seen your
mm,
toy work. I haven't seen really any of that. I mean, not necessarily for this, but just personally, I'm always interested in seeing
mm.
people's
I
stuff.
mean, yeah, give me a sec. I got like a little painting here. So here
Ah,
we go.
nice.
So it's just acrylic. Uh, it's got my cat, and he's blue, and just I don't know. I like these colors, and
Yeah,
it's just like I've never made much money off of like paintings and toys. Like they're more complicated. It's like sculpture and graphic
yeah.
design, product design, package
Oh yeah,
design, like branding. There's like it you doing everything. So I mean that's really interesting and fun,
yeah,
but sometimes I can't do it
yeah,
all. But like I've like even yeah, I've made a lot more money with toys than anything else, like
yeah.
creatively.
It's I did about, oh good God, but well now it's about 15 years ago. A buddy of mine was opening up a cafe, and
Mm-hmm.
he had just a ton of wall space. I mean, it was like 14-foot ceilings, and he had
Mm-hmm.
nothing for art in it. And so like, bring me anything you have, anything you have. So I had like 5 or 6 personal pieces because I pretty much would give away all my stuff. So I
Yeah.
brought like 5 or 6 personal pieces, and it filled up like one tiny little corner of the place. So it's like, you don't have anything
Mm-hmm.
else. So I'm like, well, let me think about it. So that day, I went to Goodwill, and I bought just like 16 random pictures and drew the same alien attacking the different stuff. I call it Melvin, and
Mm-hmm.
I have them floating around here all over the place. Um, I sold all 16 of those like within a week. My personal stuff like just
Um,
stayed on the shelf. Like no one even like
uh,
touched it. And I'm just like, okay, the stuff I could literally do pump out 20 in a day, people like just loved, and whereas the stuff you put your heart and soul into sometimes.
yeah, it's really weird. Yeah. And like the pricing of things is really weird too.
Yeah,
Because like my partner, she'll, work on stuff, but it's like
some of her
metal,
jewelry stuff.
make
Yeah,
making jewelry, and she can charge like 150 for a tiny
yeah,
piece, but if I make a toy, like I can get maybe 30
right,
dollars,
right.
from it. And I put like the same amount of time and
Yeah,
energy, and like the material cost is still expensive, but she's making a lot more for the size and the amount of work and time.
yeah. um what are some future projects you have?
Future projects. Next month, November, I'm going to, well, hopefully launch a Kickstarter
Oh,
for an original figure that I had helped. Someone helped me like 3D sculpt
oh
it.
sweet.
Um, so
Yeah, that's a dangerous world too.
yeah, big learning curve. Yeah, so it's going to be a figure release,
Okay.
and I'm hoping to use that figure and put my name on the map. uh, yeah. Another project is putting together another art toy show.
Yeah, that IKEA show you did was amazing. How many different
Thank
artists
you.
did you have collaborating on that?
A lot. In the end, there was a total of 40
Oh, sweet.
pieces. Yeah, 40 pieces, and some of the artists had submitted two
Okay,
pieces.
well,
So yeah.
no, it was, and I'll put some links up obviously to your both your
Mhm.
YouTube and your actual website has a nice uh, breakdown of the pictures and stuff like that.
Thank you.
Not
Yeah.
not that your YouTube video with your lovely display model, showing off the people very Anna Vanna White esque wasn't wonderful,
Yeah.
but um, yeah, the website has a really nice, actual shots of the picture of this stuff. Are you going to be selling
Yeah.
those, or is that how is the future plans for that stuff?
Yeah. So the next show, the artist will be selling the work,
Okay,
and they can, they could submit multiple pieces or multiple of like the same piece, so they can sell multiples of that one.
nice, nice. I know. I think it's DKE Toys out of New York. I think they've been doing that kind of thing for a while now, where they do a show and they, will sell off the pieces.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
not to
Yeah.
humble brag, I've never had anything in it, but they seem like pretty decent guys. Um, what's your favorite piece you've made so far?
Mm. uh,
I mean, the
yeah,
cheddar Chewbacca is kind of up there. The Cheeto Baka is kind of on my list
yeah,
of favorites, but
yeah. That one's fun.
I
Wow.
do like the Meow Meow
Dude,
Pow Pow too.
oh yeah, that one's good. I don't have a favorite. I don't know.
No, they're all your kids. It's hard to
Yeah,
name a favorite.
yeah.
As far as collecting, what's got your interest right now?
Oh man, I mean, that's part of the fun. I think as I'm still discovering the world of toys and action figures, I'm like learning in the moment what I like.
Yeah,
Um, and so it definitely ranges a lot, but I'm definitely kind of feeling like this Stone Age muscle man, barbarian, like wild thing, aesthetic, and maybe take my stuff down that road in the future. I definitely want to, create a toy line of original figures. So,
have you
um,
looked into? I'm trying to think what they're called. There's a scale. There's a certain scale, and that all the pieces are interchangeable. I'm trying to remember what
yeah,
the scale is.
you're
Um, this would be a great
not
time.
talking about.
I don't know. There's
Mm.
like Knights of the Slice do stuff in that scale.
I think it's still 3.75
Right,
scale
but then
when it
all the
comes
pieces
to
are interchangeable on them. That's the kind of cool thing. So like you can mix and match with a bunch of
the
different.
it's the Glios
Yes, exactly.
peg system.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been looking at that.
I haven't mastered that. I haven't mastered anything. I'm still
Yeah.
learning. Yeah, and I think bootlegs are kind of a good place to just start and learn and like make and fail
Yeah.
uh and I think I'm still definitely in that phase. I'm just kind of exploring and making and failing and learning a lot.
Well, I think the nice thing about bootlegs is it shows a little bit more of your personal creativity. Not that a toy line wouldn't,
Mm-hmm.
but a toy line you have to kind of gear like towards what's easiest to mass produce or what's easiest to. If you're doing like a custom figure, you can kind of make it your own.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to worry about licensing like your beast figure and stuff like that, like where you have two licenses that, if you're making millions of dollars off, you might have two people. Well, now I guess it'd be one person because it would still be Disney. But whereas if you're making a toy line, you have to start worrying about some of that kind of stuff. um
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
what would you say would be a good place for someone to start as far as for making toys, because you're pretty new to this? So what.
Uh, yeah, I think if you want to do something, just go do it. Like, go do it now, as soon as
Yeah.
possible. Just do it. Like, if you really want to do it, like, invest into it, invest in yourself. Education is like an investment in yourself. So if you need to take a class or just watch YouTube videos, whatever it is, it doesn't even have to be toy making,
Yeah.
just go do it. Like, this life is short. Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, what? Let's see. That's a good segue into that. We did feature projects. What would you say the cost over enjoyment has been for you for this?
Yeah, no, it's very, it's very expensive, especially when you fail with expensive material. But um, yeah, high enjoyment. So, it evens out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much our interview, sir. It's been good talking with
Okay,
you.
great.
Be thankful you're amongst my first, because maybe future down the line I might have whole list of questions, but that's pretty much where our questions are. Just get to know you a little bit so people know who you are and can look for your stuff in the future. Did you have any questions for me or anything that you want to know about Test Plug or its
But I like those glasses.
Zenny Optics? That's the answer to that question. Zenny Optics.
Oh yes, I have a couple of those.
but that's about it. Well, thanks bunch. I know we'll be seeing a lot from you in the future. I've been impressed with everything you've done so far.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like your mix of painting, as far as how you change your figure around and stuff has been good.
Mhm.
And the choices you made, obviously, I gravitate toward Chewbacca, but you've made some other pretty cool choices on stuff too. I know right now you have a pumpkin head Chewbacca out there.
Mm,
Well, tis the season, I guess, for some.
this is, yeah.
Anyways, well, that's really it for our interview, sir. And it's been good talking to you once again. Tune in to Test Plug, and we'll see you later.
Thank you for having me.